Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you all for being so consistent. In today's video, we're focusing on the cost of living in Liberia as a single person, living alone, not as a family. So Liberia is a very beautiful country with lots of friendly people. Liberians are known for their resilience, their ability to overcome any situation no matter how bad it is, and for them to have fun, to be happy, to be creative, to dare the odds. So be good, feel good about themselves no matter how hard the country is. So this budget that I'm about to give you is a budget that is corresponding with mine a little, even though I stay with my mom, but is going into mine a little, especially when it comes to transportation and others. But based on my research, this is the kind of budget that you would need to survive as a single person in Liberia, despite their nationality. Right now, the rate in Liberia is should be 190 something. It's closer to 200. So let us just say 200 because there are some places in Liberia where people are changing 5 USD at the rate of 200 and you're getting 1000 LD. So right now in Liberia, 5 USD is 1000 LD. Mind you, a month ago 5 USD was 850 LD or 800. Because we're drawing closer to the October 10th election, which is in October and we're still in July, but I have never experienced this. Like all the past elections, I just knew that okay, things can get extra hard during the election period, the rate can go up, but this one is like quick. It's too quick. Like we're in July, we still have August, we still have September before October, and the rate is already skyrocketing and prices are already going up. Like what is going on? So into this video, I'm gonna be giving you the budget. So the first thing, if you're coming to live in Liberia, you need a place to sleep. You need accommodation. You need to find a home that is decent enough that you can either invite your friends for sleepovers or you invite people to know where you're living. So in Liberia, the rent experience, I have been doing research and I found out that in countries like Kenya, people can rent for a month. But in Liberia, it is not like that. You have to rent for a year period. So let's just say you found an apartment where the landlord is asking you to pay 300 USD per month. In order to secure that apartment, you have to pay for 1 year, 300 per month. You have to pay that entire money for a year period before you get in the apartment. If you're lucky, you're going to find someone who is willing to take 6 months before you enter their apartment. Now, that might be hard, but if you're well prepared, you can actually tackle that issue. When it comes to the prices, it depends on the location. It depends on the part of Liberia that you want to stay. If you want to stay in Monrovia because that's the capital city of Liberia, that is where all the hot things are happening, the parties that I don't attend, all the gatherings, the restaurants, cafes, and other stuff, that is where you'll be. If you stay in town, the lowest rent will be, if you're looking for a decent apartment, the lowest rent will be 200, 250 upwards. But if you're staying in somewhere like Caldwell, you can get a decent apartment for 80 USD, like an apartment that has a room, bathroom, front porch, kitchen, living room. You can also get the same in rehab. You can get that for 150 USD. You can get that for 200 USD. And the good thing about some apartments is the fact that you might find an apartment where you're required to pay 200 USD, and the apartment is not like a one-room apartment, it's 2 rooms. So you can actually move in with a friend or move in, or you can take rentage too. So it can be 2 persons paying 200 USD per month, which is like 100 USD per person, which to me is reasonable for housing price in Liberia. I don't know about other countries, but this is the price to get a decent apartment in Liberia based on where you stay. There are other parts of Monrovia where you cannot even find an apartment for 150 or 200, especially if you're using the Mama Point belt. That is where all the expats come when they move to Liberia, so it's kind of expensive. Even buying food around that side, woo, it's expensive. So moving on, once you're secure a place to live, you need electricity, you need water. These are some of the basic things we need as humans in order to survive. We need current. LEC, please. So for electricity, I'm gonna say as a single person, if you have a fridge and you normally cook like sometimes, and you have a percolator to get hot water, I would say 40 USD, 40 to 50 USD per month for electricity in Liberia. But mind you, this is one of the problems we have in Liberia. We don't have stable electricity. Now we have the Liberia Electricity Corporation (LEC), but they're not as stable as a lot of people want them to be, not just me. So the best option is a solar panel. Now I don't know how much it costs, but you can do your research to find out how much it costs to have a solar panel. So our house, we have a solar panel, so it helps us a lot, especially during dry season. Rainy season, we depend, like we put 80% of our strength on LEC and 20% on the solar panel, because the solar panel needs sun in order to provide electricity. But since rain is falling now, it's kind of hard to rely on the solar panel alone. So now back to electricity. Now once you have settled that, you move on to water. Now we have a hand pump where I live, and we also use pure water. So we don't have running water, like running from for water and sewer. So they have water and sewer, but they're not stable to, just like LEC. People cry on them a lot. But if you decide to go with water and sewer, you'll have to pay 40 to 50 USD per month. It depends on the kind of water that you use. If you're not using that much water, 30 USD, 20 USD, that's okay for you. But if you're using a lot, it's gonna be like the maximum per month is gonna be 50 USD. I hope you're getting me. Okay, so moving on. After getting your house, getting your furniture, everything, getting your water, your electricity, we move on to one of the things that we really need, which is food. Now Liberians have the best food in Africa. I said it. And if you're another African, just take this as me being patriotic, and the fact that I have not been to a lot of countries, but the few that I've been to, I believe that my country's food is the best. And because I want to be biased, even if I go to your country has like really really amazing food, I'm always going to choose Liberia's food. Sorry. So for food, if you're doing grocery shopping, and I would suggest 100 USD, because the Liberian market is really expensive. Earring, cucumber, apple, now if you're buying them, they're using pounds now. They will charge you depending on the pound. Like just the mama point bill that I talked about, there is this area where they're selling fruits before going beyond finance, because I play white people can go buy my people, the people that carry everything up, but they're even using pounds now. So let's just say if you're living in town and you have to buy from the market, I would say 100 USD. But if you would like to be going out, if you're living alone, people who are living alone find it hard to cook. But if you're going out, that is on you. It's not on the budget that I'm giving. If you want to be eating out, it's gonna be super expensive, because the lowest you're gonna be getting like decent food for in Liberia is 5 USD. Now let's just say you're using 5 USD every day to eat, and mind you, you need breakfast, you need lunch, and you need dinner. So how are you going to manage? So let's just say you're using 15 USD every day to eat. It's going to be expensive, more expensive compared to using 100 USD to buy Liberian soups, and to also buy like local grocery in order to have your like fruits and other stuff. So I would suggest 100 USD. Now moving on to the part where I'm actually experiencing transportation. Another thing about this transportation issue in Liberia is that it depends on where you live. We have different modes of transportation in Liberia. We have the Kidobin bus, that is like the big school bus. We have the MTA. Yes, it's MTA. And then we have the keke. We have bike. We have taxi, and then we have taxi, and then we have bus. Now the bus is, we have the big Kidobin bus is 50 LD wherever it takes you from, like in Central Monrovia. It can take you from Banansville and carry you to town for 50 LD. But if you're using keke, it's gonna cost like 200 LD to take you to town from where the kid are being bus is taking you from for 50 LD. Now the bus part, the normal buses, they are they're not really that far from the keke price, because the normal bus will take me from Dixville to Banasville Junction for 100 LD, and then the keke will take me from the same spot to Banasville Junction for 150 LD. So there's not much of a difference, just 50 LD. And then the taxi and the keke are the same price. The only use of the taxi right now is that when rain is falling, even though the keke people have their little tapoli that they can put around, but it's not helpful compared to the warmth of the taxi. So for me right now, that's the only benefit of the taxi, and the fact that the taxi can go out of town and the keke is not allowed, and the taxi can ride on the major roads in town, and kekes are not allowed to ride on the major roads. Now, transportation is one of the most expensive things in Liberia. When I'm going to school as a student in Liberia, I budget 150 USD every month. And mind you, I still use the bus. But transportation is expensive in Liberia. Some days you're late, you have to get on bike, you have to get on keke, and the money not small thing. Especially in town, wherever you get on bike in town. Well, you can even get on bike from Ray, 1 minute distance, will charge you 50 LD on bike. Even keke will trying the same thing. So transportation is expensive. If you find yourself on the highway, woo, your transportation are more than $100 every month. But basically, I would say 100 USD upwards for transportation in Liberia. If you're working, if you're going to school, or if you have to go to town every day, 100 USD upwards for your transportation. So the next thing is exploring. Now, this is for people who like to eat out, and this is also for foreigners. If you're coming to Liberia, you're not a Liberian, you don't know the country, and you want to explore, you have to budget like 100 USD upwards for exploring. Now, this amount varies depending on your paycheck, depending on whatever you're depending on. Because if you go to a restaurant in Liberia and you want to have a fun time with your friends, it's probably gonna cost you 40 USD to 50 USD just for a day. Especially if it is a bougie restaurant like Club Monserrato, it's gonna cost like 50 USD, 25 USD, 30 USD. Now imagine every month you decide to go out 4 times. You're $100 small, say. But that is a starting amount if you want to explore. But if you're just visiting like the sites in Liberia, you can visit the National Museum, you can visit the Providence Island, you can visit Obduko, and you can do street food in Monrovia for on $20 or 20 USD, if that's the kind of exploring that you're into. Now, this is another thing that I actually spend a lot of money on: data. So if you're working right now, we're living in a world that is evolving every day. We have digital evolution that's going on right now with AI and other technological improvements. But data, we all need the internet. Like, people are literally working on the internet right now. People need the internet right now to survive. Some people need the internet to survive, and that is serious. So you need data. Now we have 2 major companies in Liberia, telecommunication companies. We have Lone Star, MTN. Lone Star has been in Liberia for decades. And then we have Orange. Orange used to be Cellcom, and maybe it has spent like a decade plus in Liberia. I don't really know the exact years. Anyways, they have their data packages, they have their minutes. So for the data package, they have routers. So if you're using a router, you can buy a package. They have $10 package, they have $20 package, they have packages like different prices. But if you don't use data as much as I do, you can budget like 20 to 50 USD for data in Liberia every month. For minutes, I don't even put minutes in my phone, but I would suggest 10 USD upwards, depending on how you like talking, how often you like talking offline. I am not a talking offline kind of person, so I just stick to my data, because the YouTube uploading that I can be doing, I am pretty sure I use more than 100 USD data every month, and I'm not even joking. As any YouTuber, you know, it's expensive. So if you're a YouTuber, you have to find your own budget depending on how constant your uploads are. For me, I'm posting every day in July. Woo! So the minutes and the data, these are things that you need. So maybe 60 USD for data and minutes as well. So living in Liberia, to me, there are challenges and there are also advantages. There are so many good things about living in Liberia, so many places to see, amazing people to meet and interact with. And there are challenges like electricity, good roads, corruption, and so much more. But if you're thinking about moving back to Liberia, this is a budget, the living budget. The living budget. Sorry, I have been talking a lot, so I'm mixing up my words now. This is a monthly budget for a single person living in Liberia, Monrovia, Liberia. And I really hope that you consider coming back to Liberia. It's gonna be amazing. And if you have if you're coming here for work, this is another amazing opportunity. Look at this budget that I have given you and make use of it. So thank you all so much for watching this video. Thank you all for being so consistent. If you're new, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tap the notifications bell. I love you all so much. Bye bye.